I have noticed that most of the time, the day begins with work and the day ends with work, if they are so work oriented. So this is a gentle reminder that work is just a part of your life. So it's very important that you live for some time before you begin work. Of course, we like our work. It's so passionate. You do that something so passionately, but still you need to have some downtime before you begin your work. So have some morning routine in place before you begin.
This is episode 86. I am so happy that you're here, and thank you for joining my show, your coach, Helen Yuskovic. I am on a worldwide mission to help people get confident in putting themselves first, because I used to put myself second my whole life. And because of that, I experienced every unhealthy relationship possible. An unhealthy relationship with myself, my health, my wealth, my intimate relationships, my family, my friends, and my career. I'm now living in an abundance that I used to just dream about. So I want to pave the way for you too. It's time, guys. It's time that you live in the life of your dreams as well. So let's take a step towards that right now. P.S. Subscribe to my podcast on your app now so that you always tune in to my new episodes. Welcome back to the show, Dr. Rafeena. This is part 2. Last time, 2 weeks ago, we had part 1 of learning about the different body types in Ayurveda, and Dr. Rafeena educated me that this is one of the fundamental things that Ayurvedic practitioners learn. And then they learn a whole host of other things, which is just phenomenal. And then they come back to the body type anytime they're treating a patient or a client to make sure that they have the right protocol. And so today we're actually going to delve deeper into another body type, which is called Pitta. And none of these body types, like I mentioned last time, are better than another body type. You can't change your body type. You can't say, hey, I'm Vata, but I want to be Pitta. You just are what you are. And I'm going to help everybody that's listening to decipher maybe which one you are if you're trying to guesstimate what you are. And we're going to talk about Pitta and about some of the key aspects of this body type. So firstly, before I start, hello, Dr. Rafeena.
Hi, Helen.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you. My pleasure. Always a pleasure to be with you to discuss on Ayurveda.
Yes, I love it. I'm such a big advocate. I think in my past life, I must have come from India.
Totally. It looks so.
I really think so. So let's go into this Pitta body type. And could you just share with us, from your opinion and your knowledge, some of the differing things that a Pitta body type has, as opposed to, say, like last week where we spoke about the Kapha body type?
Sure, Helen. So when it comes to Pitta body type, first of all, the word Pitta, it's a Sanskrit word, and it originated from the root word tapa, which means that boils. So, most of the characteristics of Pitta is related to either heat or the fire element.
Yes.
So Pitta is an energy factor that's made out of fire and water. So the characteristics are so much reflecting those basic qualities. So generally, a Pitta body type has a well-built body. They are muscular. They have medium frame. So it's easy for them to maintain their body weight. So either they have the same body weight, more or less same body weight throughout their life, or they can gain weight easily and they can lose weight easily. And and then coming to certain specific characteristics, generally Pitta body type can have a colored eyes and colored hairs, and they can blush easily, and they hate heat. They can easily feel hot, and they prefer cool weather.
Right.
And coming to some, physiological characteristics, they have very strong appetite. So Pitta people are generally notorious for being hangry. So they can easily lose it when they are hungry. I quite like that word, to be honest, hangry.
Yeah, because I'm laughing because I can relate to that. There's been many times when I've been hangry.
Yes, yeah. And generally, the bar movements are very regular and they can easily react to certain foods like, milk or anything hot and spicy or certain vegetables that can make them to run to toilet.
Uh-huh.
And coming to the skin again, they can be prone to boils or acne or some inflammations. And generally, they are quite analytical, they are intellectual, and they are leaders most of the time. They can have a dominating personality. And if imbalanced, they can be angry. And, some Pitta body type, they can struggle to manage their anger.
Sounds like they can get short-tempered.
Yeah, yes, yes.
Wow. So the Pitta body type, medium sort of frame, the muscular. And what about when it comes to, actually, we'll talk about this next, because first I want to ask you your very first curveball. Are you ready to play?
Definitely.
What is one of your hobbies?
Cooking. I love cooking.
Do you have a favorite dish?
Yeah, so there is something called a sadhya. So it's not a dish actually. It's a Kerala vegetarian platter. So it can come with, 12 to 20 or even 26 varieties of dish in it. So that's a feast. So that's my
Wow.
favorite.
Sounds like a healthy cheese platter.
Definitely. Yeah.
I'd love to get a picture of what that is.
Yeah, definitely. I will share one with you.
Oh,
Or you can just look up. It's sadhya.
I'll find it, guys, and I'll put a link in the show notes so that we all know what it is. Dr. Rafeena, can you talk about this Pitta body type a little bit more? Because I am all about holistic health, and so is Ayurveda, which is why I think we connect so well. And I know that, diet, mindset, physical health, and everything plays an important role in optimal health. Can you tell us the best ways for the Pitta body type to self-care?
Definitely. So, one of the mantra that can really help a Pitta body type is balance. Because for a Pitta body type, it's so easy to swing into one side. So maybe it's exercise, or maybe it's the work, or maybe it's the hobby, or even, certain foods or habits that they really like. So even for healthy reasons or even for fun reasons, they can easily get into that and get over the board with that idea. Then they can exercise too much or work too much, or they can get addicted to coffee or chocolate or alcohol. So this is one thing you have to keep remind yourself if you're Pitta, because even before you realize, you can be doing that overboard.
Yeah.
So always keep it under balance and make sure you have a balance between your personal life and professional life, and generally with other things as well.
Well, I can just imagine all of the listeners saying, yes, this is me. I do overwork. I am out of balance. I do get excited when I'm exercising and go a little bit overboard. And maybe I'm not caring for myself right. Maybe that's why I'm a bit angry all the time. It's like we're connecting all the dots.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And one of the thing that can help a Pitta person to keep them balanced is meditation. But most of the time, the Pitta body type is so disconnected with the idea of meditation. As soon as they hear, it's like, what is that? I don't like it.
Why would I meditate? I need
that
to keep moving.
Yeah. So if you feel so resistant towards meditation, that means, you badly need meditation.
Yeah.
And there are ways that you can get connected to meditation eventually. So exercise is always a beginning to meditation. So that's why even with yoga, who proposes meditation so profoundly, we begin with, body asanas, the body postures. Because Physical awareness is something that can bring us to, the general awareness.
Mm.
So begin with exercise. But as I said earlier, one thing that you have to remember is keep it moderate. It shouldn't be too much. So ideally for a Pitta body type, a good 30 to 45 minutes exercise of something of moderate intensity, that's good. So that's a good way to begin.
Mm.
And then you can consider listening to some music, some gentle music, not pop or anything like that, of course. So you can plan to listen to an instrument. It can be violin or it can be piano, a single instrument that can really help to organize our thoughts and help us to calm down. Then even you can listen to some mantras or practice chanting some mantras. That can be a step further. Then you can begin to practice breathing exercises.
Mm.
So you can begin with, just counting your breath when you take your breath in, and when you breathe out, you can just count 1, 2, 3, 4. You breathe in, you hold for 4 counts, then you breathe out for 4 counts or 8 counts. You can double the count when you're breathing out.
Mm.
So that's another way to begin. Then there are so many yoga breathing exercises and so many other breathing exercises that you could do. By that time, quite possibly, you will be ready for a session of meditation and you can look into further options about meditation.
I remember seeing a saying that said, if you don't have time for 5 minutes of meditation, then you need to do meditation for 1 hour.
Totally, totally agree with that. Yeah.
It just sounds like the Pitta body type is very driven, highly focused, highly ambitious, and sometimes that can get in the way of your balance, which is why these body type can tend to fall into trouble or get out of balance often because they might not prioritize self-care
Mm,
or balance
mm.
because they might feel like it's not important because I'm not achieving something.
Totally. And sometimes, like, as you said, most of the time they are trying to do the right thing, but more than they can handle. And some other times they do then other things that's not exactly healthy to relieve from that stress or pressure, like doing exercise too much, which is again, we can't really call it as that unhealthy. But still, if you're doing exercise more than your body can handle, that's not recommended. Then there can be other things like binging on alcohol or binging on coffee, things like that. That's not helping you.
Totally,
Okay.
because they're all stimulants.
Yes, of course, all the stimulants, even hot and spicy foods. Sometimes, it can be a food that you really rely on as a comfort thing.
That makes so much sense. Is there any other things that you'd like to share about self care for the Pitta body type?
Yes. As I said, the Pitta body type is hot in nature. Anything cooling is highly recommended for them. So that can be in terms of the food, in terms of the lifestyle in general. So things like massage with coconut oil, self massage with coconut oil. That's something that you can try before bedtime. That can be so relaxing and grounding. And avoiding hot and spicy foods, keeping stimulants under control, or the best, stay away from them. And even to sweets and sour foods, anything acidic, anything salty, that can also act as a stimulant for a Pitta body type. So we can see people who actually crave for chips all the time, salty and sour chips. And it's actually coming from that imbalance. So, yeah, so these are the few other things that we can remember. And there are always certain spices that we can incorporate, like cooling things,
Mm.
mint leaves. Most of the soft herbs, they are pretty good. And fennel seeds, coriander seeds, turmeric, few good spices for Pitta body type. And of course, a good amount of sleep.
Yeah.
So make sure you sleep at least for 7.5 hours.
Wow. Yep. Makes so much sense. I feel like I'm a bit Pitta. And so as you're talking, I'm like, this is me. I do crave salty foods and chips and
Mm,
stimulants. And whenever I do an alkaline cleanse or I start eating, well, the way that you've sort of taught me to eat, when I do my self massage, I just feel so amazing.
true.
And what's amazing is that some people have no idea yet how good they can actually feel once they start to bring in that balance in their life.
Definitely. Yeah, because most of the time the Pitta body type can be so driven that they feel like I can't slow down, I can't pause, I need to achieve this. But then most of the time they are forgetting that taking a break or doing some self care is just going to accelerate whatever you're doing. The quality would be so much better so that you don't even miss that break. You feel like you have invested your time in a way that you have boosted your potentials.
Exactly. It should become part of the lifestyle.
Totally.
Dr. Rafeena, it's time for your next curveball. Are you ready to play?
Okay, let's try.
What is your favorite thing to do on your day off?
Okay, yeah. So the favorite thing is, I would say it's an approach or an attitude rather than the favorite thing exactly. It's taking the day as it comes. So I prefer to wake up without any alarms. I don't plan the day exactly. I just take it so organically. So if I feel like doing something, I do it. If I feel like resting, I do it.
Just having no agenda, just going with the flow.
Totally.
That's amazing. I would love to share that this year I made it a challenge not to wake up with an alarm and to trust my body
Mm,
clock. And it was so scary at the start because I thought I'm going to be late for everything. But I sort of just tell myself, this is what time I want to wake up. And I do. Can't believe it.
yes. Yeah, it's so amazing, isn't it?
Yep, totally. And when you don't wake up with an alarm, you don't get that big cortisol rush and that big stress of, oh, God, I've got to get up, I've got to get dressed, I've got to do this. And it's just
Mm.
sort of organic and it's more calm. And for someone like me that's always go, 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 it's such a nice, balanced way to wake up.
Yes, yeah.
Is there any other things that you wanted to mention for the Pitta body type and self care?
One thing, that I was thinking right now when you were going through the alarm clock and waking up in the morning, that came to my mind. It equally matters to all body types, but I have observed that it matters more with Pitta body type because they are so driven. I have noticed that most of the time, the day begins with work and the day ends with work, if they are so work oriented.
Yes.
So, this is a gentle reminder that work is just a part of your life. So, it's very important that you live for some time before you begin work. Of course, we like our work, it's so passionate, you do that something so passionately, but still you need to have some downtime before you begin your work. So, have some morning routine in place before you begin.
Yes, this is one of the big things that Dr. Rafeena made me re implement into my life because when I get out of balance, the first thing that goes is my morning ritual and my night ritual. And I don't get that hour of power to myself. And you just feel like you're waking up, work, sleep, wake up, work, sleep. So thank you for that reminder. Dr. Rafeena, is there anything else that you would like to share before we end the show today?
Yeah, just as a continuation of what we have said earlier, sometimes even after doing all these things, we can get imbalanced. Or sometimes we know all these things, so we struggle to implement in place. So that's a reminder that you need to get some help. So when you're struggling, always remember to get some help. It could be for someone as beautiful as Helen, or you can come to me or anyone near you that you can trust that can help with your lifestyle or stress or whatever happening. And there are certain sessions, beautiful massages from Ayurveda that can be helpful. For example, there is one session called the Shirotaira. Have you had that session before, Helen?
Yes. Is that the one with the oil?
Mm.
Yes, I love
Yes.
that.
So with Shirotaira, what happens is after a beautiful head massage, warm herbal oil is streamed on your forehead. So that's actually a chakra point. That means a marma point or a vital point that comes between our eyebrows, and that's considered as the third eye. It's also considered as a meeting point of nervous system and hormonal system because pituitary gland lies there. And of course, there are so many nerves passing around that area. So when we do this particular massage, it gives you that much relaxation and that you were craving for. So it literally helps to reset you.
Yep. I can vouch for that. I think I
Yes.
almost fell asleep when you were doing that to me. So there is definitely help out there if you feel like you're struggling and if you feel that you connected or resonated with a lot of things that we mentioned today. There is Ayurvedic practitioners out there. It is an alternative therapy that you can always try. But again, always just go and see someone that you feel really comfortable with. This is just shedding some light on a beautiful practice called Ayurveda, which has just really helped me change my life. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. So thank you, Dr. Rafeena, for your time today.
Thank you. With pleasure, Helen.
And I'll talk to you next week for the Vata body type.
Sure.
Thank you times infinity for spending time with me. It really means a lot. Putting yourself first will really help escalate your goals, your dreams, and I love being on the journey with you. So make sure you come and tell me on my Instagram at Whole Health, which is HOL_health, and comment below this podcast photo to share your thoughts on my show today. And if you enjoyed it, please leave me a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify so that I can keep bringing amazing value to you. I'm sending you truckloads of love, power, and joy. Bye for now.